Hi. The last few months have been interesting for lots of people in so many ways, and people have coped with COVID in so many different methods. Some people have read books, some people wrote poetry, some people played music. I've been having a good go with different Nikon cameras, and I've been exploring the history of Nikon and using a whole range of cameras from classic f2 Nikonats and all the way up to today's camera. And today I am going to be talking about a camera which I have sort of wanted to buy for years but haven't done until now. Now there's been a bit of a story about how I bought this camera. My first digital proper DSLR was something called a D80, which I bought in 2007. And it was at the time that Nikon was just beginning to produce their last film cameras, and though you can still buy, what is it, the F6 today, but they were beginning to wind down cameras. But a camera they had been producing for the then 7 years was the F80. And the F80 is a really high quality film camera which was sort of aimed high-end amateur. It's a little bit sort of simplified in body form. The F100 is a great camera with a really strong all-weather body, where the F80 is a more plastic body. And this is the camera. There was a bit of a profile story in buying the camera. I initially bought one on eBay which was advertised as being in really good condition, and when I got it, good working condition. The key was working, and when I got it, it looked in beautiful condition, but it has an error. And every time you could try different lenses, you could try new batteries, but it always had this sort of Nikon error. So it's the first camera I think that I've actually sent back on eBay. I've bought quite a lot on eBay and I've sold a lot on eBay. I've accepted a few returns, but I think it's the first time I've actually sent a camera back. Then a week later, I kept looking for F80s, and this one came up. It had a lens. The problem was the then owner was advertising it as a no return, which I'm never too sure about. But the fact that it had a lens with it made me very interested in the camera. And when I did obtain it, it was in good condition but slightly sticky. Now, some of you will know some fixes for sticky cameras, which include alcohol cleaners, and I found by using a microfiber cloth and an ethanol based cleaner that worked. I'm not sure of how ethical that is, because you're actually taking some of the rubber off the camera. However, I've now got a very usable camera. The price paid I was actually quite pleased with. I was a bit worried because I initially had put in a bid of 32 and then someone beat me straight away at 33, and I thought, well, so I put in 60, and I did put in a bid of 60 and then thought that's a bit much if the camera doesn't work. However, I got the camera for 42. So it arrived, and as I said, cleaned it up, put a film through, and I was delighted with the results. I'll just go through a little bit about some features of the camera. It's obviously, like any modern camera, very easy to load a film, totally automatic. It's nice that it will take AA batteries on this extra battery holder, battery pack. Without the battery pack, you just put in two normal, I think it's 1, 2, 3 batteries, but they can be a bit expensive. It's lovely having the option of the AA batteries. The lens on here is a 28 to 80, which is a useful lens. The great thing about this camera, I think, is the some of the easy features. You've got manual aperture, shutter priority and program, and it's a step program, which means it takes your aperture and shutter speed, and then if you want to up the aperture by 1, it will then lower the shutter speed. So that is extremely useful. You can set your own ISO, so if you're using cassettes without the DS coding on. It's got all sorts of customized settings as well. You've got single shot or multi-shot, bracketing and self-timer here. You have a pop-up flash. On the back you have a multiple array of exposure locks, and you've got a matrix exposure or a spot focusing. The focusing as well, you've got focusing zones you can choose, or it will do the whole matrix with making its own decisions. It's extremely ergonomic to hold. It feels a very comfortable camera. As I said, it's so much lighter than the F100, which is a great camera but is heavy. This is really, as I said, ergonomic. It's light to use. On the focus you have a single or continuous focusing, and you've got the really useful depth of field, so you can see how that is in the field, so to speak. I have had a film through here and I was absolutely delighted with the results. It's interesting, I have as I said, a D80, which is a very similar camera but obviously a digital camera. I think this is one of the best film cameras I've used from a user point of view. It might not have the classic looks of the Nikon F2 or Nikon Mat, but there are times when you just want to be able to take a photograph quickly, where you don't want anything too heavy. Manual focusing is lovely, but it does take some thought. The fantastic thing with this is it can either be a serious user camera, or you can use it as a point and shoot. I think it's the best of all worlds. The only thing I would worry about is I wouldn't want to use it in a thunderstorm or with lots of severe weather. These are still, I think, really moderately priced, and you can find them online. It's quite often they haven't been heavily used because people have gone into digital. I'm really pleased with this. If you want to get into film, it might not be a bad way of getting into film, finding a Nikon F80. Thanks for watching. Bye.